the notion of karma, as it is generally used, is used to generate fear of bad behavior. And I think that's very childlike. And, fear is a great controller of human beings. So, good behavior is always better than bad behavior. But what good behavior and bad behavior are certainly more complicated than the notion of karma could put forth. For instance, in the work of Khalil Gibran, there's a series of short stories about people who might have been sinners. And Khalil is in this series of stories asking, what is truly a sin? Is a poor person who steals a loaf of bread to feed his children actually a sinner? Or is it that the society which has, structured itself in such a way as to allow this person to starve, is perhaps that the sin? So, as you know, I've defined for myself, come to understand the term karma as related to, not to the smallest of pictures, which is our good and bad behavior or the expression of our tensions. When we think of fruition of bad behaviors and fruitions of karmas, bad experiences, mostly we're thinking of, the emergence of some tension that has, that we're acting out. I don't think of karma like that at all. I think karma is the country that we were born in, the state of that country, the family system we were born into and the state of that family system. And, generally the traumas that are embedded in that family system that are transmitted to us, that's our karma. And, most of our behaviors, first of all, karma is so complicated. And we like to think of it as cause and effect, or linear is another term. Is karma linear? Is there, over a long period of time, is there a cause and effect relationship between the complexity of a human being and their possible behaviors in a past life? Well, if there is, I just really, after 50 years of thinking about this, cannot, say definitely that there is a cause and effect linear relationship. And moreover, because it's my opinion that dynamic systems defend themselves, they sustain themselves, they are self-sustaining phenomenon. And so it is our karma to be born in the same family system over and over and over and over again until the traumas, the disappointments, the tensions of that particular family system, have become, totally resolved in us and we can move on. So much of the time it's like I see people reaching out to fill a place within themselves, reaching out for love, and support and nourishment that they could not get from their family, not because their family was in any way ill-intended, but because their family didn't have it to give them, and these absences go back millennia. Our karmas are more like, You know, how many times was our father or mother killed in the war? You know, how many times was, you know, our family bankrupted, you know, I mean, how many times these traumas, how many times have these traumas been, you know, like imposed upon us? And then it's totally clear by now, we've seen in the last few years, you know, papers discussing genetic evidence, the genetic transmission of trauma from, you know, on the female side from grandmother to granddaughter, and on the father side directly from father to child. These traumas are really sort of deeply embedded in our system. They become a part of our genetic makeup. They impact our organ function. They impact the way in which our nervous system is organized. They impact, you know, our neurotransmitter, you know, alignments, and sort of make us the unique and complicated person that we are. And, you know, there is nothing about our karma that inherently denies us access to a much deeper resource, which represents both the fulfillment of our, you know, our own personal fulfillment in this lifetime, or, you know, our total release from the family system, from all family systems, and our ascendance into the, you know, an energetic system that transcends human life on earth. But karma is not a bad thing. And karma, you know, was my karma to be born to, you know, in the Catholic family that I was born into, you know, and you know, I look at it and I think there was a very good reason for that, and not that I was entangled in that system, but that moment in time was a good moment for me to enter into this world and receive something special that I got in that family system. So, you know, and there's no block. I mean, what our proclivities are, how we express ourselves, you know, what our attitudes about work and our attitudes about other people are, you know, all this is, you know, learned. It can change. Just like we understand racism is not, you know, genetically transmitted, it's learned behavior. You know, it is the tensions of our parents and maybe their parents and their parents, but we can transcend all of that if we care to. So karma is not a big limitation, and even being born into any life is a blessing. It's not intrinsically a negative, you know. The negatives is if you accept the superficial, you know, level of information that you're going to receive, you know, as a child, you know, as the end of the story. That's the limitation. When you don't understand somehow that what people are telling you around you and what's going on in your heart are different, and then you appeal to your heart, you know, for some deeper truth, you're free of all your karma. And bravo.